Hello everyone, tonight I'm working on getting ready to change the fuel pump on this Harley Sportster. I picked it up non-running, put a battery in it, got it cranking, but it still doesn't seem like it's getting fuel, so I'm going to pull the tank, put a fuel pump in it. I don't really know what I'm doing, just kind of guess my way along. I believe this is a 2012. It's a Sportster 883 iron. I'm not sure how many miles it's got. I bought it from my buddy. He's had it parked for quite a few years now. A throttle cable broke on him. Never got around to getting it fixed. So I picked it up off him. So yeah, that's where I'm at on it. Like I said, I've never taken one of these apart before, so I'm gonna learn, I guess. This bike's fuel injected, and it's got a fuel tank or a fuel pump in the bottom of the fuel tank, and then like a 6-inch maybe fuel line from the fuel tank down to the intake runners where the injectors are. I think that's what I'm doing. It's not going to let me. The rollover valve or something. Just to shake the tank. It's not going to let me pour it out. Show you what I'm working on. I'm not too worried about gas on the tank because the paint on the top of the tank is pretty rough. I sat out in the sun in southern Utah for a few years now. I need to pull this sending unit out of the bottom should have the fuel pump attached to it. Which I've got a new fuel pump kit. Looks like it's torqued, so I'll have to go in the garage and get more parts, or more tools. But that's the plan. So just keep working on that. Like I said, this is 2012, I think it's 2012, Harley Sportster, iron 888, that needs some love. But I borrowed a Harley last year and caught the bug, and the dirt bikes just don't do it. So this gets me into a street bike cheap. It's rough. It's sat outside. The seats tore up. The paint's faded. Even the back of the... I can't see because of the sun. But even the backing and the gauge is cracking from the sun. That's what I'm working on. We'll go find more tools on that. Here we are. Hopefully you can see that alright. This panel here on the bottom is what I need to take out. Should have a fuel pump attached to it. Out, see what it takes to pull the pump off of it, swap the pump out. Maybe have to do some wiring, but let's see. It's the first fuel injected bike I've ever worked on. Really, I've done service on a couple others, but first one I've ever really done any work on. So it's kind of crazy now to be pulling a carburetor apart. Pulling a fuel pump out instead. That's not good. You can see all that. It's just scones. This looks like sand. It wouldn't be good if this thing got sand in it. That would explain why it doesn't get fuel. There we go. Yeah, that fuel pump's broken down. That's the sock that should go around the fuel pump. Is all broken down. So get it all pulled off and see where we're at. I bought a tire balancer, now I'm using it as a workbench. Of course.
I'm gonna sing one more verse and I ain't gonna sing no more. I'm gonna sing one more verse and I ain't gonna sing no more. 'Cause my train is here and you know I gotta go.
Come up with fuel line. Grab a different pair of dikes because these ones aren't working. There we go. Yeah. That should be a fabric sock right there. A pre-filter. So, fuel pump was bad. If I didn't know better, I would say this was why it was parked, but I know why it was parked. Unfortunately, that's just what ethanol gas does to stuff. Everything now. Just ethanol. It's not even that old, it's a 2012. Probably never seen anything but ethanol gas though. Okay, well, I think that's all I'm going to get done tonight. We've got a ditch meeting to go to. I'll have to assemble this one, pre-filter. This is what disintegrated into this powder on the other one. So you get the pre-filter on it, get the rubber boot on it, and then get the pump installed in the sending it at the next time. Okay, it's a new night. Back on the fuel pump. I started putting it together and forgot to film it, but I'm back on the fuel pump. So I'll keep working on that. We got the fuel pump back in the tank. Now I need to put the tank back on the bike, hook the fuel line back up, and see if that solves the no ignition issue. Pretty sure it's got spark. It runs on starting fluid. It's just not fueling. Put a new pump in it. If it's not the pump, it's going to be injectors probably. So hopefully it's the pump. Fuel line ties in down here, right there where that, right into that Y right there. So get that all tied together. This needs to swing around, clamp down into there. Okay, it's a new night, another day after work. It's nice sunny evening. It's been raining the last couple of days and dark, so I haven't filmed, but it's Nice sunny evening, everything's greening up. I did some work off camera when it was dark. I finished bolting the tank on, mounted the seat, put some gas in it. It does. Fuel pump fires. Turn the key on, you can hear the fuel pump. Fires right up. So it was definitely that fuel pump. So tonight I'm going to adjust a few things on the handlebars, try and get it a little more comfortable, get the controls a little more comfortable and straightened out, and then take it for a rip. A little bit of history on this bike. This is actually the bike that I rode around a lot when I had my learner's permit and was practicing to get my endorsement, and I actually took my test on this bike. So this is the bike that I took to get legal to get my motorcycle license. So I went with him when he picked it up. We had my wife's cousin at the time had a Harley, and some of our other friends had bikes. I had still have a Yamaha DT250 Enduro 2-stroke that I was riding around. Well, this was really one of the first street bikes I rode, and we went and bought it. Joe went to look at it, and I drove him up there, or rode up with him. And I don't remember if we drove my truck or his truck when we went to go get it. But we got there to look at it, and it's almost identical to the one that my wife's cousin Brandon had at the time. And Brandon's was really fancy, really low miles, shiny and pretty, and this one it had been somebody's commuter bike in Hawaii, was the story we got told. Joe bought it down just outside of St. George, but Joe rode it around a lot, commuted on it. I rode it around quite a bit. Had a lot of fun down there with it. I've now ended up with it, so it's one of those little memories I latch on to. Kind of a hoarder that way. I think it's just one of those cool things. But Joe got hit while riding it. Got rear-ended getting off the freeway. So it's had new handlebars put on it that are now a little weathered. But it had some work done to it at one point. And I think the shifter got broken as I try and drop the bike in the dirt. I think the shift shaft right there got bent, and they pulled the primary transmission apart, and replaced it and rebuilt the whole transmission while they were in there. I think is the story I got. But I think it'll be a good bike. Get me back into more of a street bike. Like I said, I borrowed a Street Glide last year, and that got me really wanting a street bike instead of enduros. I've always been an enduro guy, so this will be I had a Goldwing for a while, never rode it much. This year I picked up a couple other street bikes before I picked up this one. I think this is the one. I got it all titled and registered last week, so it is ready to go. It's got an oil leak I've got to track down. But I think that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and maybe we'll see you in the next one.